Broads Media.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome on into Sports Talk with Broads. We're recording this 6:30 in the morning on Friday morning. I didn't have an opportunity to do the post-game show, so I don't know if I'm going to have the same amount of fire as I normally do. This is outrageous. This is out of my comfort zone. But damn it, when the Phillies explode offensively, like we saw to finish out the series, okay? Oh! JT makes you pay for pounding Bryson Stott, you bum. And then you see, of course, Trea Turner continue the hot streak. This all comes after such a horrible start. Bases loaded, no outs. Let me get this straight for a second. Let me ask you a question. How the hell do you not score a run? How do you not get somebody across home plate? Don't tell me it's an emotional letdown because of what happened the night before with the no-hitter and Wilson and all that stuff. I don't care. Bases loaded. No outs. Do something with it. You got walked 7 times. They were begging you to score. They were begging you to do something with it. 7 times? That's almost impossible. Thank you, though, offense. Thank you. Nick's on a heater. Did you see the way he pinned that? Did you see the way his extension was with his backhand? That was beautiful. And this team is raking. They're alive. Their power surge is finally here. You know, it's funny. You listen to Crucky and you listen to Barkan, you listen to all the guys afterwards, right? They're like, this is what the team was supposed to be. And you're absolutely right. It just baffles me that we're almost halfway through August. And now it's finally here. You would think with all the talent on this team, we would have gotten this a month ago. Okay, let's say May isn't easy. Let's say a little bit of June, there's some struggles. In what world does it take midway through August to get here? I don't know, but we're here, and this team is in a nice spot. They need to keep this up. They have a big series this weekend against the Twins, and they better do something with it. They better keep this thing rolling and going where it needs to be. But look, let's get to Aaron Nola. He goes 5 innings. He worked out of some trouble. Pitch count rose pretty early there. He did have some innings, 20-plus pitches, and you know, it is what it is. I'll say this, and I already mentioned Crucky, and he kind of did lay it out perfectly. If you want to make a deep run, you need better than what Aaron Nola gave you yesterday, right? I think that's fair to say. With that said, though, he wasn't awful. I'm not killing him today. He did have to work through some sloppiness. Bryce Harper over at first base, whatever you want to call that. There were some errors and limited damage. So, it's not great. It was good enough. That's how I label it. And quite frankly, if the offense could pour on some runs in the early stages, we're not even talking about it like this. I'm more aggravated through the 5 innings that Aaron Nola pitched with how nobody knocked in runs with timely hits. How you screwed up. Because that's what they did. They absolutely pissed on their foot. That's what happened. And if you score 4 or 5 runs, and then Aaron Nola goes 5 and allows 1, and battled some traffic on the bases due to some poor defense, I don't know if it's the same talking point. So sometimes he becomes a punching bag just because we get annoyed with what we want Aaron Nola to be and what we get. In this game in particular, and I'm only studying this one game, you could maybe make the argument that there's something to be said about the way that he handled some rougher spots. Because in years past, and even in this year, when he's on, he's on. When things are dialed in, he's spectacular. When it goes south really quickly and harshly. It's a big crash. How many times do we really get to discuss Aaron Nola going through a game where he battles and he mentally gets through some spots that are a little bit more difficult for him? Not often. Once again, not good enough, but I'm not going to crush him and put him in the crosshairs as much as everybody else seems to be. It needs to be better, no doubt. The offense, though, was more of my talking points through the first 5 innings of this game. No hits, runners in scoring position, nonstop. You can't let that happen. Now, luckily, the Nationals blow. And against this team in particular, they'll give you 5, 6, 7, 8 chances. All right, murder the baseball in the 6th or the 7th or the 8th, and we'll be just fine. Marte, I don't know if Marte's going to be just fine, okay? My heart starts racing when he's in the ball game, but luckily they were able to shut it down there even after Alec Boe missed that foul ball that hit off the top of the railing at the dugout. I'm like, oh, man, how the hell do you miss that one? It is what it is, though. I like the fact that this team is playing this confident right now, and they're feeling good in the batter's box. And ultimately, that's what needs to happen for them to shine. Update on Bryce Harper. The mild back spasms. I'm not going to pretend like I have any idea. I have no idea. And I don't really trust a lot of what they say at times. Now, we saw the replay of him trying to get a ball over at first base, have a tag there, and for a throw over, that is, and then he shook his back. He did the whole back thing, like, oh, man, that didn't feel right, and he was fixing his shoulders. I don't think it's anything serious. I'm just not going to put a timeline on it and give you any sort of professional opinion on where he stands. I got no clue. I don't know how they're going to handle this. I would expect it not to be anything crazy. Here I am starting to make speculations, even though I just stated 5 seconds ago that I would not give you any sort of opinion on what I think his timeline would be. That's how stupid I am. See, that's what happens when it's 6 in the morning and I'm not properly recalibrated for the day. I'm still on cup 1 of coffee. All right, I think this would be a good time to take a sip. So if you don't mind, we're going to take a 3-second pause. I'm going to flick the microphone up so it's closer to my hairline so I can get a massive amount of coffee running through my veins because, I don't know if I'm at the peak. I don't know if I'm at the prime of where I want to be at this time of the day. It's outrageous what we do here. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So, I don't know where Bryce Harper. You see the smile that comes onto my face when this happens? Like it's oh, my God, it's the greatest. It's the greatest. What also is the greatest is the fact that your Phillies are starting to pounce in that wild card discussion as the best wild card team there. Not my end goal. All right, I've been making this clear from the rip. I want to be the Braves, okay? But I could live and I could support a team that's lethal as a number 1 wild card spot for the time being. You think about the difference on being a 1 wild card compared to a 2 or a 3. If you slide in at 3, it doesn't mean as much. Be great, all right? Be fantastic. Be hard. Be the wild card team. If this is who you are, I'll give you some credit. Be the wild card team that everyone says, ooh, that's a tough. I don't want to see that team. That team plays hot. That team already has a pedigree of having a very scary offense in the postseason. Have you seen Citizens Bank Park? That place is rocking. It is unbelievable. Wait until Craig Kimbrell gets the light show, and it's October, and it's postseason ball. Okay, and everyone's standing on their feet, and here he comes trotting out of the bullpen. He's got both arms up. He's looking down at JT. He comes set. Bang! Bang! Swinging a miss. Struck him out. I had to. As you could tell, I'm enjoying this team way more now. Do you think, let's be honest here, okay? In the ugly stages, in the piss-poor play stages, let's say we're dating this back to a couple months ago. They lost 6 of 8, okay? They score 3 runs in 7 games. You hate them. Do you think I'm waking up in the 6 o'clock hour to come into the studio and rip an episode before I get my day started? All right, I got a lot to do today. That's why this all worked out this way. 20-week ultrasound for the baby. All right, I can't wait. My wife's 5 months pregnant. Flew by like this. It's gonna be crazy in a few more months when that thing pops, and here we go. I'm in dad mode. I can't wait. I'm stoked. I would never be here if it was during my time. I can't stand this team. But that's not where we're at. We're back in the this is magnificent mode. We're back in the this is unreal. I'm enjoying life again, okay? I'm enjoying my time at 7 o'clock at night. I'm waiting all day long for first pitch. I wake up, what I'm thinking about right now, Minnesota Twins, we got a game tonight. That's all that's floating around in the noggin. All because your offense is back. All because Trea Turner is back. It worked. Don't tell me it didn't work. It worked. The guy hits a massive home run to give you a lead in a game that had a sour taste in your mouth, where you thought, even though it's the Nationals, at the time, you can't shoot yourself in the foot as often as they did. Because in this league, that could be enough to ruin it. Now, I was wrong by the end, but that's because the home run started to fly. And when that place gets crazy for bombs after bombs after bombs, good luck. Nikki C. It's crazy. It's crazy how beautiful it is when Nick starts to get a hold of one. I can't stop watching the replay of the way he watched and admired that puppy. The one-handed extension. It's going right now. I see it again. Seriously, all day long, I'm just going to be like, oh yeah, remember when Nick Castellanos hit that home run and it was awesome? I just can't stop. I can't stop. This is why I love when the team's great. I'm a jerk off, okay? This is my life when things go well with my baseball team, and it's the best feeling in the world. And with that, we'll transition to the Anytime Hotline so we can hear from you out there and see if you feel just as moronic as I do. Is that the right word? I don't know if that's the right word. I'm making sure my settings are proper, though, before we fire this off, because sometimes I make mistakes. Let's do this.
What's up, Broads? Jack from Hatfield here. Hey, great series win, man. They did what they needed to do. That second game in the doubleheader forgiven, as upon was the agreement. Great hitting later on. I was definitely a little worried earlier in the game that they maybe stayed up a little too late last night. We're going to let this one slip, but, you know, great home run by Nicky after a great at-bat. Love that shot from JT after that punk-ass bitch took a shot at Bryson Stott. Nola, what are you going to say? I don't know. I wasn't impressed, but I guess he got it done. But, yeah, let's keep rolling, baby.
All right, Jack, thanks for the call, man. I think that's a good way to label the Aaron Nola experience. Not impressive by any means. I don't know, though, unless I'm not putting enough stock or at least praising enough that he had to work through some garbage behind him. And I just know that every time he gets somebody on base, traditionally, he falls apart. And then he loses a lot. And he allows runs to score. And it gets pretty south quick on him. So I don't know. Are we giving him credit for that? Or is it more along the lines of we shouldn't be giving him a standing ovation because he's doing it? That's part of his job. Not an actual standing O. I'm just saying more along the lines of, well, why give him credit? Isn't he supposed to have his team's back? Don't you say that all the time, bros? Once in a while, someone will screw you in the outfield. You will have a misplay. But if you're a top dog in the starting rotation, let's use Garrett Cole as an example, okay? Garrett Cole is legit. And if something is bad with the Yankees, and something is bad with the Yankees, and let's say there's a few guys on with back-to-back errors and there's 2 outs, instead of allowing a double for a run to score, how about you strike somebody out? How about you get a ground ball to the left or the right side to get out of the inning? you are capable of doing it. And if you see yourself as a top rotation guy that wants the ball in the playoffs, you're going to have to do that, especially with a team that's built like a softball lineup that is organically going to make mistakes because your roster was built to mash and then be flawed defensively for the most part until you can maybe have a lead and then make some defensive replacements late. And at that point, you're probably at your pen anyway. So you have to live with this. This is part of the position you were put in. Does that deserve the claps? And I don't know, I have a tough time with that because that's like saying, well, Nick Castellanos is supposed to hit home runs. So when he hits a home run, I can't be happy. I just have to acknowledge that that's who he is. Like, no, it's still phenomenal when it happens. So I don't know. I mean, there's got to be something to that. I'm just throwing it out there. It's not good enough big picture. Is there positives to take out of a grind from Nola? Because I don't think that's his strongest attribute, is the grind. Is that fair to say? I think that's fair to say. But yeah, I think it's perfect what you labeled. The agreement we had on that game 2 of the doubleheader. What you need to do to make up for that awful mistake is win 3 of 4. 4-game sets, very hard to sweep no matter what, especially when you're playing 2 games in one day. Fatigue sets in, you have wonky lineups, it's weird. I don't personally like it anymore. Anyway, you win 3 of 4, you did your job, now we face a weekend series with Minnesota. I'm not as angry with them anymore about that game 2 of the doubleheader. You're right. They did what they were supposed to. All right, let's take another call. We'll go to Aiden.
Good series win for the Phillies here against a putrid Nationals team. First 5 innings honestly didn't look very good, but we'll go up Trea, Castellanos, and JT all 1 yard. Good game, another good game for the offense. 3 2-run home runs. Nola didn't look too bad compared to his last couple of starts, but it's also the Nationals, so I don't know how much stock you put into that. But really just a good series win. This series that you should win. Let's go win 2 out of 3 versus the Twins. Keep it rolling. Keep this thing going, boys. Let's go.
I love it. Now, the Nola thing, and I'm not picking on you, Aiden. I love you to death. I know you're a frequent caller, and you're fantastic. But my brain starts to kind of think a little bit. They say, well, Aaron Nola did okay, but it was against the Nationals. My first thought goes, well, Lorenzen steps in yesterday, right? Or I guess 2 days ago at this point. This is all throwing me in for a loop. I don't know how to do this right now. The morning of is creeping me out. No one discredits the no-hitter because it's against a putrid Nationals team, but when Aaron Nola goes 5, it's against the Nationals. So what do you want me to do with this? I don't even disagree with you, but I do a little bit. But I see where you're coming from. But I don't know. I don't know what to do with this. The Aaron Nola thing. It's a very slippery slope, and I said this on last show because a caller brought up Aaron Nola, and I didn't want to get into the long run of him. But it's also a hot topic on Twitter, and I saw someone talk about his innings pitched and how hard it is to replace him and what others around the league would think about him hitting the market and how excited they would be to add him to the staff. And yeah, I agree. I agree. There is a lot about how long he stays upright, how many innings he pitches. There's tremendous amount of value in that. And the only long-term statement I will say about Aaron Nola, and trust me, we have plenty of more time to really dive into this, I would say sometimes when you're in a relationship, it could be a mutual breakup. You grow apart. You slowly start to realize, like, I don't know if this is going to work out. Aaron Nola, it doesn't mean that in the relationship there was something wrong with the woman, something wrong with the man, however it goes, right? It's just sometimes you break apart. I think that's what it is with Aaron Nola. He's not bad. He's not the worst thing ever. He's not terrible. I've had my moments of taking shots at him, and trust me, I'm very frustrated. But big picture-wise, he does do a lot that's well. But I think within this relationship with the Phillies and the Phillies fan base, now, I think sometimes it's just time. It runs its course. Now, if you can acquire him for something similar to the deal that was possibly reported, 5 years, 115, 110, if it's not anything mind-blowing and it's a reasonable price, I'd be willing to walk it back and see and discuss and talk for sure. I'm not completely ruling it out. I'm just talking emotionally. I think from an emotional relationship standpoint, regardless of what he does well, sometimes a new scenery, a new change of pace, a new lifestyle, a different city, it goes a long way for the player itself and sometimes for the organization too. It's time for something different. Not that you are a problem, not that you are a trash can. It just doesn't mesh anymore. And I wonder, as we progress here, and now's not the time for this, so shame on me, but are we at that point? That's something that's in the back of my head for a future discussion. That's all. I'm just planting the seed, okay? Now, Evan texted. Prodes, I 100%, 110%, not just 100%. Evan 110% agrees with me that Castro sucks and is a joke. Oh, this text came in Wednesday. Sorry. He texted a few different times. He's ripping Castro. Okay. For the record, I also think Marte sucks. Now, this is the same person as I move up on the text board with his personal text who ripped Kyle Schwarber about a week ago, and I referenced this on the pod. So it seems like Evan is someone who just hates a lot of people on this team. Okay, that is what it is. All right, a lot of texts came in on on that no-hitter. Jonah. Oh my God, let's fucking go. That was amazing as shit, and I'm so happy for the dude. Dave Dombrowski is the GOAT. Offensively, it was really nice to see. Didn't catch the whole thing, but saw the highlights. Got the chills. I feel you, man. I feel you. Special. What a special night. This is from Sam. Trea's ovation, no-hitter, and more to come. And this will propel this team back to the NLCS. Sam, why are we selling this team short, man? NLCS, back to the NLCS. How about back to the World Series, baby? How about back to the World Series? We riding the high right now? Are we riding the 3 of 4 against the Washington Nationals? I guess maybe that is what we're doing. All right. No need to dive back into that no-hitter performance, although I will gladly do that. We'll wrap things up here. I got a long day ahead of me. Wanted to make sure I got you something, though. I love you guys. You're phenomenal people. You're great people. You're amazing people. I love you. Thank you all so much. We'll be talking very soon.